Okay, so here's a question that sounds like it should have an obvious answer. Donald Trump, one of the most famous businessmen in American history, a man who literally wrote a book called The Art of the Deal, owned casinos, multiple casinos, in Atlantic City, and he went bankrupt, not once, not twice, 4 times. 4 separate casino bankruptcies across roughly 2 decades. The man owned the business where the house always wins, and somehow the house lost. If that doesn't tell you that owning a casino is more complicated than it looks, nothing will. So you want to own a casino, a floor full of slot machines spinning around the clock, roulette wheels turning, blackjack tables dealing hand after hand, every single game mathematically designed to take more money in than it pays out. The math is permanently in your favor. People walk through your doors, hand you money, and statistically, you keep most of it. At a hotel, a restaurant, maybe a concert venue, and you have one of the most diversified revenue machines in the entire hospitality business. Sounds simple? It is not simple. And the story of how casinos actually make money and how they actually collapse despite the odds being literally rigged in their favor is one of the most counterintuitive stories in all of business. Before a single chip hits a single table, you need to survive getting permission to exist. A casino license is not a business license. It is one of the most scrutinized regulatory approvals in the entire commercial world. In Nevada, the licensing process involves a full investigation of your personal finances, your business history, every partner and investor connected to the project, your criminal record, and the criminal records of people around you. The process takes months, sometimes over a year, and costs hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal and compliance fees before the state says yes or no. In New Jersey, the process is similarly exhaustive. In newer markets like Massachusetts or Maryland, where casino gambling was legalized more recently, the state has awarded a limited number of licenses through a competitive bidding process, meaning you don't just need to qualify, you need to outcompete other applicants for a license that may only be granted to 2 or 3 operators in the entire state. The capper required to enter this business is staggering. A full-scale resort casino in a major market, the kind with a hotel tower, multiple restaurants, a spa, entertainment venues, a poker room, and the full gaming floor, typically costs between $500 million and several billion dollars to build. The Venetian Las Vegas, when it opened in 1999, cost approximately $1.5 billion. The MGM National Harbor outside Washington, D.C., which opened in 2016, cost around $1.4 billion. Wynn Boston Harbor came in at approximately $2.6 billion. These are not investments you make with personal savings. They are financed with enormous amounts of debt, private equity, and in some cases, public capital markets. And that debt is the thread that runs through every major casino collapse in history. Here's where it gets interesting, because the way a casino actually makes money is more layered than most people realize. The first layer is the house edge, and it is the entire mathematical foundation of the business. Every game on the floor is designed with a built-in advantage for the house. American roulette, with its 2 green squares, gives the house an edge of approximately 5.26% on most bets. Slot machines, which are the single largest revenue generator in most American casinos, typically return between 85 and 98% to players, meaning the house keeps between 2 and 15 cents of every dollar that goes through the machine. Blackjack, played with basic strategy, gives the house an edge of roughly 0.5%, the smallest of any game on the floor. But almost no recreational player uses perfect basic strategy, and the actual house edge against the average blackjack player is closer to 2%. The critical concept here is not the edge itself, but the volume it operates against. A slot machine that processes $500 in bets per hour with a 5% house edge generates $25 in revenue per hour. Multiply that by 1,000 machines, 24 hours a day, and the math becomes very large very quickly. A major Las Vegas casino floor might process billions of dollars in total bets over the course of a year. The house edge doesn't need to be large, it just needs the volume, and the busy casino floor provides volume continuously. The second layer is the hotel. Every major casino resort operates a hotel because the hotel solves a specific problem. A gambler who stays on site spends more time gambling than one who drives in, plays for a few hours, and drives home. The hotel keeps customers inside the building. It also generates its own revenue stream through room rates, food and beverage, spa services, and resort fees that are entirely separate from what happens on the gaming floor. For the largest resort casinos in Las Vegas, non-gaming revenue, hotel rooms, restaurants, entertainment, nightclubs, now represents the majority of total revenue. The Strip has quietly transformed from a pure gambling destination into an entertainment destination, where gambling is one of several reasons to visit rather than the only one. The third layer is entertainment and food and beverage. A residency deal with a major music artist can generate tens of millions of dollars in ticket revenue while also driving hotel occupancy and gaming activity from fans who travel specifically to attend the shows. A celebrity chef restaurant inside the property generates dining revenue and adds to the brand prestige that attracts high-value customers. These layers are real, measurable, and increasingly important as competition for gaming customers intensifies. The fourth layer, and the one that separates serious casino operators from everyone else, is what the industry calls the high roller or VIP segment. A single high-stakes gambler playing baccarat at a $100,000 per-hand table can generate more revenue in one night than 1,000 casual slot players generate in a weekend. Casinos build entire departments around identifying, attracting, and retaining these players. Private jets to bring them in, penthouse suites to house them, personal hosts available around the clock. The economics of the VIP segment are extraordinary on the upside and catastrophic on the downside, because a single whale on a lucky streak can cost a house millions in a single session, and because the credit extended to these players sometimes doesn't get repaid. Now, here's the other side of the ledger. Labor in a full-service casino resort is immense. Dealers, pit bosses, surveillance staff, hotel employees, food and beverage workers, security personnel. A major casino employs thousands of people across dozens of departments, all of which must be staffed around the clock. The surveillance infrastructure alone is staggering. A modern casino floor is covered by thousands of cameras monitored by teams of trained analysts around the clock, specifically because the gaming floor is one of the highest theft and highest fraud commercial environments in the world. Cheating, card counting, dealer collusion, and chip fraud are constant threats, and the surveillance and security systems required to address them represent a significant and non-negotiable operating expense. Then there's the comp system, and this is a trap almost nobody outside the industry fully understands. A casino comp is a free good or service given to a player in exchange for their continued business. A free buffet, a free hotel room, a free show ticket, free drinks on the floor, which is standard practice in American casinos and which serves a specific purpose of keeping players at their machines and tables longer. The comp system is not generosity. It is a calculated expense designed to maximize the total amount a player leaves behind over the course of their visit. But it is still an expense, and the cost of comping rooms, meals, shows, and flights for high-value players adds up to a number that directly reduces the margin on the gaming revenue those players generate.
To understand how this all fails, you go back to Atlantic City. Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino opened in 1984. Trump Taj Mahal opened in 1990, reportedly the largest casino in the world at the time, financed with $675 million in junk bonds carrying interest rates around 14%. The gaming revenue was real, the floor was busy, but the debt service required to keep the operation running was simply larger than what the property could generate. Trump Hotels and Casino Resorts filed for bankruptcy in 2004. The Taj Mahal itself filed again in 2009 and finally closed permanently in 2016. The building didn't fail. The capital structure built on top of it did. Exactly the same pattern that collapsed Extended Stay America in hospitality and Rolling Acres Mall in retail. Real revenue, impossible debt. Atlantic City as a whole tells the same story at scale. At its peak in 2006, Atlantic City generated $5.2 billion in annual casino revenue across 12 properties. By 2016, 5 of those 12 casinos had closed permanently. The competition from newly legalized casinos in Pennsylvania, Maryland, and New York drained customers from a market that had been built on geographic monopoly. When neighboring states legalized gambling, Atlantic City lost the one thing that made its debt serviceable: captive demand. This is a structural risk underneath every regional casino. The license that protects you from competition today is granted by a government that can change its mind, expand gambling into neighboring jurisdictions, or simply grant new licenses within your own market whenever it chooses. The moat you thought you had is owned by the state, not by you.
Online gambling adds another layer to this disruption. A player who can open an app on their phone and play slots, poker, or live dealer blackjack from their couch is a player who doesn't drive to your floor, doesn't stay in your hotel, and doesn't eat in your restaurant. The gaming revenue might remain accessible digitally, but all of the adjacent revenue, hotel, food, entertainment, retail, disappears the moment the customer stays home. So, does owning a casino actually work as a business? The answer, more than in almost any other industry, depends entirely on the license, the market, and the capital structure underneath it.
In the best case, you hold one of a small number of licenses in a dense, growing urban market, your debt is manageable, your resort offers enough non-gaming amenities to generate year-round visitation, and your high roller program is profitable rather than a liability. In that case, the house edge does exactly what it promises, and the volume it operates against turns the mathematical advantage into one of the most durable revenue streams in all of commercial real estate. In the realistic bad case, a neighboring state legalizes gambling, your market fragments, your debt was sized for a revenue projection that no longer holds, your biggest VIP player had an unusually lucky month, and your license renewal is getting complicated because a new administration wants to revisit the terms. None of these is a disaster on its own. Together, in the same year, they are exactly the sequence that ended Trump's Atlantic City empire and emptied half of Atlantic City's casino floor in under a decade. The odds are always in the house's favor. The house can still go broke. The math doesn't save you from the debt.